Welcome to the Ancient Way. I'm James.
I'm Marley.
I was gonna say I like being vulnerable. So I even thought about talking about how we dropped the ball on an episode with a guest.
Oh yeah,
Is that
we could
too
do
much?
that. No.
Okay. And we'll just name the episode "Ball Droppers." Let's
Wow,
not
that's
do that.
gonna be.
We'll bleep that out.
Do you know how controversial that will be?
I know it. I bet we get a lot of clicks on it. Like, what are they talking about on this one? Anyways.
Oh my gosh.
We dropped the ball.
Yeah.
But out of it, I think we have a new administrator for emails and communication.
Oh yeah.
My wife, which she'll do very good at. She's
Yeah,
very
she
good
will.
at that stuff. She'll be able to stay on top of it. Yeah, we had a missed out on some communication with a guest.
Due to the crazy upheaval of our lives.
Yeah. Yeah, it's totally understandable. But we own it.
Oh yeah.
But one thing that I thought about with that whole situation, and I think because it sucks, it's unfortunate, but I kind of was like, why do I not feel so guilty about it? And then I thought, well, I owned it. I think a lot of it was on me because I'm the one who I communicate with him a lot of time. I usually reach out to him and stuff. We both communicate with him. But
it is you.
It
I'm
is
just
me.
kidding.
It is me, and I can fully own it. And I think we now know how to grow from it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think there's a need to sit in the shame of it or guilt of it.
Oh yeah.
But I don't feel it. And so I had to think like, James, are you just being like apathetic and just not caring? Are you being immature with it? And then I thought, no, I owned it. You can own it and move forward without having to feel bad about it.
Oh yeah.
I think anyways. So so if I came across as like, wow, James just doesn't care. I do
No.
care.
I was definitely disappointed.
Yeah, it was disappointing.
I think that the fact that I had a dream about it and then it came true was kind of hysterical.
Yeah. Well, my God, why didn't we check the email after you had the dream?
Because we're not as intelligent as we appear.
That's true. We'll get there. Yeah.
No, I think it's because we actually needed another system.
Yeah. I think so too.
I think we needed a more efficient system.
I think so too.
And
Out of
the more,
respect for the guests. Too.
for real, we definitely need to respect the
It's,
guests.
you don't want to. We have full plates.
Yeah,
And it's good to have somebody else so we don't half-ass it.
it's so true. But it was funny, man.
Yeah.
I had this like sense of disappointment. Speaking of like kind of dealing with things that are coming up,
Uh-huh.
I felt like I missed out. I felt like we missed out on a pivotal guest.
Yeah.
Because they were of big. It was going to be the biggest guest we had.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh man, I missed out. And it was so sweet. The Lord was like, do you not think I saw this coming?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Straight
It's
knew
like-
about it. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just like, man, I put even hope of getting more people. Because I like people to listen to our stuff. I think our stuff is
Yeah.
vastly
Mm-hmm.
meaty
Yeah.
and so practical.
Yeah.
And I feel like we actually release the true message of the kingdom.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like so disappointed in it. But even in that, it was sweet because I got to connect to the Lord,
Yeah.
and it was just like, also I didn't feel after I could kind of like work through the emotions.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it wasn't even time.
Yeah.
The time
Right.
wasn't right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I said. I think we'll get this person on.
Yeah.
I think we will.
Yeah. It was just interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, it happens.
I love
But now we know.
transparency.
I do too. I do too.
Oh, speaking of transparency, this is a good segue. So I've been reading Hebrews 5 and really kind of sitting in it. But we've all heard this scripture, right? 5:14, it says, "But the solid food belongs to those who are of full age.
Mm-hmm.
That is, those who, by reason of use, have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil." Are you
Yeah.
ready for this?
Yep.
That word exercise. Listen, the Hebrew is wild full. And I say that because I feel like whatever. But are you ready?
I'm ready.
It means to practice naked.
Oh, wow.
It means to exercise or train
Mm-hmm.
naked.
Yeah.
And to me, I went, so hopefully y'all can follow my train of thought.
Yeah.
But instantly when I heard that, like their senses are trained in vulnerability.
Yeah.
But they're also trained as if you were in the garden, because that was the last place
Wow.
that people were naked.
That's right.
And it says to discern both good and evil,
Mm.
right? The thing that got me was
Wow.
Adam and Eve,
Yeah.
they didn't discern what was the tree of knowledge of good and evil
Yep.
and what was life.
Yep.
It's not judgment between like, this is the Lord or this isn't. There's probably an element of that,
Huh.
but it's like, hey, what is from the tree of life and
Yeah.
what is from the tree of knowledge of good and evil? And that's by reason of use. That's us practicing vulnerability and exercising naked and letting
It's
yourself be
functioning
exposed.
like outside of the fall.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's
Wow.
being completely restored,
Yeah.
going
That's
all the way back to
amazing.
Eden.
Yeah.
Anyways, that got me so, I was pumped about that.
Wow.
That's what it is to be mature.
Yeah.
It's to function outside of the fall.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thanks for listening. Golly.
Completely
That's great.
vulnerable.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm going to start saying that.
That's exercise.
We're going to exercise naked from
Yeah.
now on.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way that
Yeah.
even like the fruit of the Spirit, all of that is
Yeah.
fully exposed is by transparency.
Yeah. Yeah, the freedom of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well,
All right. Thanks
drop the mic, unscrew the mic over there and drop it. And let's just
I'm just kidding.
Done.
I'm so glad you brought up
Yeah,
transparency.
that's amazing. I'm glad it triggered that.
Yeah, man. I've been sitting with
thought.
that. I was just like, yo, that's what that is.
Yeah.
Like, you can say, yeah, like discernment of spirits is like angels or demons and all that, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's
That, yeah.
low level, to be
Mhm.
honest.
Yeah,
I think there's like so much, like, it's living outside of the fall
it is.
and discerning what is of the fall and what is not.
That's amazing. Wow.
But it can only be done with full transparency.
Yeah.
Completely, like, you don't protect yourself, you don't guard yourself, you don't look for ways to like prove that you're right.
Mm-hmm.
You're actually completely surrendered and you look of how do I elevate other people? It's
Yeah.
full love.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. Huh.
All right.
Well, that's, interesting. That's going back to vulnerability and things. That has helped me navigate some things in the past couple of weeks. Vulnerability and honesty.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a trick sometimes to try to, what is that saying? Fake it till you make it.
Oh yeah.
That kind of thing. Like, let me just pretend that I'm an expert in this field, or let me just not say anything and people will just think that I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just, hopefully, when it's over, and I never have to prove myself.
Mm-hmm.
So that thing
Or never have to show up.
Yeah.
Like, let your person show up.
Yeah. Stuff has come up here and there, and I've gotten to the point where I will just, like, if I don't understand something, or if it's not the way that my mind works, I'll just voice it.
Mm.
Like, hey, I'm not definitely financial. I don't think in financial terms.
Yeah.
I think in storytelling. I think in different ways. And I
Mhm.
will voice that like, hey, I don't know what y'all are talking about, but here's my perspective on this situation, which is good because they can bring that. I can bring this. They'll tell me things and I can trust them and all this, vice versa. But that just, it eliminates pressure when you do that.
Mm-hmm.
Or even if you have a dumb question, there's no dumb questions because you don't know the answer until you ask it.
Yeah.
But anyways, just being vulnerable about that stuff. It's like, yeah, they're just saying, I don't know what you're talking about. Or I don't know what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
or yeah, I don't know. It's been freeing me up in little pieces.
Yeah.
Something I'm learning. So anyways,
It's a way of showing up more you.
it's a tiny little practical step people can, put in there. Don't think that you have to know everything.
Oh, yeah. That's funny. I was thinking about that last night. We made a huge bonfire. We're burning a ton of branches and whatever on this property that we have been given to live on, which is kind of dope.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I've given everybody a full recap, but it's cool. The Lord has come through in so many crazy ways in our life. But anyways, we were doing this huge bonfire, and Bexley kept asking me questions. And I almost felt bad for how many times I was like, I don't know, baby.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was after like the 10th one that I was like, you need to go ask your dad.
Yeah.
Literally, I have no idea. She was asking about like the fire and because I guess the leaves were burning up but they were like floating up and
oh yeah.
I didn't know that. Listen.
Just a fire.
Yeah, but I didn't know about like whatever. There was a lot of questions that I didn't know. But I was thinking about that. I was thinking about how
she was
often
paying attention to all those little details.
Yeah. But of not trying to prove yourself even to your kid.
Yeah.
Of like having all the answers. And I had that thought. I was like, oh, I don't have to have every answer for her.
Yep.
I don't even really need one. Like, and then I was thinking about how often we try and show up with people like in spaces where we feel like we have to give an answer or we have to give an advice or we have to give counsel.
Yeah.
Right? We can't just sit with people and things.
Yeah.
Like we had this situation happen where I had a friend bring me some information and I was just like, I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
And so I just sat there.
Yeah. Good.
And like I felt very uncomfortable in it.
Yeah.
But I just literally didn't know what to do with it.
The honesty of it's like, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or let me think about it.
Yeah.
It's another one. It's like, well, I have no idea what to think about that.
I got to ponder on that.
Let me sit on it for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But normally my go-to would be like kick in and counsel or like encourage or like.
Or scramble for the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was very freeing in that moment. Just what you're saying of like, oh, wait, you know what? I don't know. I don't know what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that's true humility.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Just like.
It is. But like what I've learned with it is like I've learned over the years to produce something, whether I know it or not, whether I have the needs or means to do it or not, is I felt the pressure to, which is interesting. I'm glad I can see it now, but it's hard it's going to be a tough one to develop or hone into what it's supposed to be.
Oh, yeah.
Because these moments pop up and it's like, oh, just catching it.
Oh, yeah.
Right now is a challenge.
Can you give an example of when you saw that thing? Like, what would be a mode that you would normally kick into? Like,
oh, yeah. Let me think. I was in a meeting somewhat recently, and somebody asked me, hey, what's the difference between this and this? And this person could damn well figure this out on their own. It was kind of like, let me throw.
Why are you even asking?
Let me shoot an arrow at James and put him on the spot kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I thought about it. I said, hold on a minute. And I thought, I had this feeling of like, I should, which is the intention. I was like, I should know this off the bat and should be able to, boop, there it is. There's the answer. It was so stupid to ask me that, but I know it was pointed. And so what I did was, well, let me think about what these words mean, And then somebody else kind of pulled through and was like, I think we already talked about that. Here's what we came up with. But initially I was like, oh crap, really?
Yeah.
But then my thought was going into, well, let me think about it. That's what I'll do. If I need to think about something now, I can just say, well, hold on, let me think about it. Let me catch my thoughts or whatever. In which I was just going to go into, well, the definition of this means this. The definition of this means that. Let me just go into Webster's and there you go. But anyways, that's a recent example of it. Because used to, I probably would have scrambled and made a fool of myself because I'm trying to. You should already know this, James. You should have a 2-second reaction. You should already have it out there. You should know this.
Yeah.
So I did not do that. I will say, well, let me think about it.
You know what I think is for those of us, I would say pretty much anybody who's even raised in the school system or whatever.
Yeah.
Like there's a pressure to produce an answer.
Do you think that's probably where a chunk of it comes from?
Totally, because you were graded on what answer you could come up with.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
even like drills and stuff like that. How fast can you produce it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think there's like this element of like going all the way back to the curse or life is like the curse is like hurry up and try and prove, hurry up and try and give an account.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, throw that out there. Or just you always have to have your crap together. So you always need to know, you always need to be in the know, to prove that you're intelligent or worthy of this place or like your job or you know, that you're a competent person or whatever. Like I think that's the bait of the curse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas the other one is like, yo, I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why do you have to know?
Right.
Why do you have to have an answer? Why can't you just let the space be?
Yeah.
Right. But.
Yeah. Interesting. This will be a fun one to unravel and unlearn this whole situation. It'll be fun to step into this new thing.
You know, that
for me anyways.
That happened to me. I had to unravel that thing. I feel like I have definitely I don't feel that pressure anymore, like
Good.
at all.
Yeah.
But especially when we owned the gym.
Yeah.
Everybody was coming to me for questions. And because I'm kind of a research nerd, I could go find the answer.
Sure.
And I also had like this deep need to help people.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's where my worth was really valid. Like I was only worthy if I was really helping people.
Yeah.
Which really was just soul sucking for me. But yeah, so people would come to me for all these questions. So then I would go spend like hours researching to be able to give them an answer. And it would like consume me because I didn't feel like I could just be like, hey, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I didn't feel like I had space for that.
Yeah.
But then when like walking away from the gym, I could feel that thing walk off of me. And now I can honestly say, like, if people ask me questions, I'm like, I don't have a clue.
Yeah.
But what's been interesting is I do know now. Like when people ask me stuff, I just know. I'm like, well, yeah, that's da 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 da.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's not like I don't feel the need to prove it. It's just
Sure.
like, oh, I know it.
Yeah.
Like, especially like health questions or.
I almost want to point them in the right. You go research it.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Well, that's become more and more my deal. But I would be like, hey.
Point them in the right direction.
Yeah. I'd be like, hey, I really think it's da 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 da, but you should go look for it.
Here's
for
a
yourself.
good resource. Yeah.
Yes.
Here's a good way. Yeah.
That's literally what I do now.
Good.
It's just like, yeah.
Oh, good.
Like, hey, these are my suggestions, but I encourage you to go figure this out for yourself.
Yeah. Which takes the dependence off of you. Like them having to depend on you for answers.
Yeah.
Huh.
But I think that forces people to take ownership of things too.
Yeah. It's honest. It's just honest.
Yeah. But even like, you know, for you and when people are trying to pin you with questions and like want you to come up with something.
Yeah.
It's like.
Well, my go-to, this is another example. My go-to, and this one happened a couple times, but recently, it's like, why are you qualified for this? And I will just say, usually like, well, somebody asked me to do this. First off, I didn't put myself here. And then I'll say, my heart is for people.
Yeah.
Like it's that simple. My heart is for people. And guess what? I'm surrounded by people who specialize in things that I am not good at.
Yeah.
So let's put people who are good at things in those positions. And I don't have to know how to do everything.
Yeah.
I don't have to be an expert on everything at all.
You don't have to be a jack of all trades.
It's almost like my purpose in these positions is to find the best in people and to put them in the positions that bring value and growth and opportunity to people. Which is, you know, I don't have to be a guru on whatever.
Nope.
But that's been my go-to is, my heart's for people. My intention is for people. And I don't want to be somebody who can be bought by anything, pressure, money.
Anything.
Yeah. I think it's how we're all supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the true inheritance that we have, where there's nothing actually in this world that can buy us.
I think so too. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And that is scary to territorial beings and people. That's gotta be frightening.
Well, people who make a wager with those territorial beings.
Yeah, definitely. How many times inheritance, we were talking about that pre-recording this. How important is inheritance? How many times did you say?
Oh, it's mentioned like 273 times in the Bible.
So there's something to it, I would say.
Yeah, our inheritance is massive.
Yeah. Well, and I think that once the closer we get to it, to stepping into it, is when things really flare up.
Mm-hmm. Well, when we've been given it, right?
Yeah.
And because I think we've already been given the inheritance, but what I mean by like when we're taking hold of it.
Yeah, right.
Like, I'm going to use you as an example. Like, you didn't work this thing out to get the job that you have. It was given to you.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, so many things around you, people, things have come at you trying to convince you or just trying to skew things to be like, you don't belong here. Yeah. And it's like, well, I didn't earn anything anyways.
Right.
Which I think is it's a beautiful picture of Elisha versus Jezebel.
Yeah.
And I think this is how this thing is playing out. To me, like the prophet versus witchcraft. But because the prophet, if you think about it, what does a prophet do? Especially in the Old Testament, all they did was embody the word of the Lord.
Yeah, that's right.
Their life painted a picture of the word of the Lord.
Yeah.
Like Elijah had to go do all these prophetic acts, and Elisha, like their life embodied it. And I think that's what even like new covenant Christians, we embody the word of the Lord. We actually embody Jesus. And so, our life will paint the picture.
That's right.
And oftentimes witchcraft will try and dispel us or take the inheritance from us through control, through manipulation.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, projection.
Projection, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the lies.
Mm-hmm.
But I noticed recently, definitely in my own life, but other people too I've talked to, it's come out of the blue seemingly, and it's come from people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been that. It's been like, hey, you're not qualified, or the Lord is not going to pull through for you in this situation.
Oh yeah.
Or like, people are not for you. All these different things, and fears of like you're going to fall flat if you step out.
Yeah, I actually had a dream. Well, yeah, so I'll say that. There was a dream that I had 2 nights in a row. One, I was ripping this snake apart, who had actually wrapped itself around somebody named Charlie. And they had like submerged them, but the snake was beautiful. It was like pink and purple and these shimmering green, and
wow,
like it was actually beautiful.
Yeah.
But it wrapped itself and drowned. And I was trying to go in to help them, and I heard a voice say, "Don't wait." And I had to wait for that person to come back up with that snake still entangled around them, and then I could cut the head off of it.
Wow, that's interesting.
Well, then as I cut the head off of that one, I'd actually like ripped it off the person and handed it to Zach, and Zach took the head off of it. But then a second snake came up at me, and when it did, the head was not fully connected. But but it's the venom in the mouth was still so massive.
Yeah.
But I grabbed it by its tail and like went up the whole body of it and popped its head off.
Oh, cool.
Like it was like
a toothpaste tube or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and popped its head off.
Oh, cool.
But I found out that the word Charlie means free man or free woman.
Oh.
And to me, it instantly was like, hey, that's our inheritance.
Yeah.
It's part of my inheritance is to rip the heads off of these snakes, these what I feel like are Leviathan, twisting serpents, things that spread lies that to bring deliverance to people. But people actually have to come back up. You can't go chase people to get them delivered.
Yeah.
Like you have to wait for the moment when they're ready for it.
Oh yeah.
But to me, it made me think of Jezebel.
Yeah.
And then the very next night, I had a dream that somebody stole my car again. Listen, I broke that. That ain't happening.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But somebody stole my car, and we were with a troop of people. Well, I was in troop, but I knew it was like a troop of people.
Yeah.
But they stole my car, and when they stole my car, they held my cell phone out the window and was like, "Look, I got your phone too." And instantly, I knew that something was trying to steal my communication.
Yeah.
Feel like trying to shut down your voice.
Yeah.
And when I was praying about it, I was like, oh, I feel like that's actually what's happening. Like that's the thing with the prophet versus Jezebel.
Yeah.
Is that it tries to silence your voice, tries to make you think that you have no voice, you have no say, you actually cannot speak into anything.
Yeah.
But that's the lie, because the inheritance is to deliver people.
Right.
And to actually bring freedom. And I started thinking about this story with Jezebel. And I think it was the next day that you actually sent a message about how you've been seeing the theme of prophet versus Jezebel. And
yeah, I have. And I was running as I was thinking about that. And as I was running, I kept seeing that picture, all those old paintings and artwork of Jezebel being thrown out the window and fed to the dogs. I mean, real graphic stuff, the dogs gnawing. There was nothing left but like her palm and nothing left of her. It's brutal, but it's what happened to her. And I kept feeling, I think what I said was the ferocity of the Lord towards that lying voice. The ferocity of it. And I could feel like a rush from it of like, hey, these things are flaring up, but what are you going to align to? You know? And you don't have to defend yourself. It's like, no, the Lord put you here. You are the embodiment of his word, of him on the earth.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that matters. And all this other stuff, it will eat itself. It will kill itself. And you'll watch it happen.
Yeah.
And you won't have to defend yourself or anything like that. Which, Elijah in the cave and stuff, he didn't have to do that. All the stuff that he had seen, it was a big projection. But it's like, what do you do? Like, in that moment, who are you? So, but I was feeling that, and that's what triggered that. And even the little lies that come in, that are inside, that aren't from a person. Even the little things, you can align with the Lord on it, who he says you are.
I think those are still projections, like definitely. The lies, like whether they're coming through people or just coming from the outside in. Yeah. Both of them are trying to get you to not take up your inheritance. Yeah. To not walk it out, to not walk in the fullness of who you are. Yeah.
But once it flares up, I think like, okay, I'm about to step into it, or I'm about to see it, the inheritance, or I'm about, because we already do have it. Yeah. More than conquerors. We just get to walk out the conquest that he took care of it, So all they have is the projection, really, if you think about it. It's it's yours. All they have is, if I can lie good enough, or if I can lie from this angle, that's all they have on us.
Yeah, I think about the whole story, right, in 1 Kings 21, like where the whole deal with Jezebel even started. Yeah. Is about, it's 1 Kings 21, but it talks about Naboth, right? And Ahab was like, yo, let me buy your land. Let me buy your inheritance. Yeah, man. So I got to read this because this is funny.
Yeah, do it.
It says, and it came to pass that Naboth the Jezreelite had a vineyard which was in Jezreel next to the palace of Ahab the king. So they're like side by side.
Oh, yeah.
This is like a side by side matchup.
Uh-huh.
So Ahab spoke to Naboth, saying, "Give me your vineyard that I may have it for a vegetable garden, because it is near and next to my house. For I will give you a vineyard better than it. Or if it seems good to you, I will give you its money's worth." And Naboth said to Ahab, "The Lord forbid that I should give the inheritance of my fathers to you." Like, I just love that. That's
yeah.
But so Ahab went into his house sullen and displeased because of the word that Naboth said, "I will not give you the inheritance of my fathers." And he lay down in his bed and turned away his face and would not eat any food. Mm-hmm. It's like he went childish.
Yeah.
Like, I literally just
pouty.
Yeah, he was pouting.
Oh man.
What did we used to say, butthurt Billy?
Yeah.
He was a little butthurt Billy.
That's it.
Anyways, but then Jezebel, his wife, came to him and said, "Why is your spirit so sullen that you eat no food?" And he said to her, "Because I spoke to Naboth, and he said, 'Give me your vineyard for money.' Or I said to him, 'Give me your vineyard for money, or else, if it pleases you, I'll give you another vineyard.' And he said he won't give me the vineyard." But Jezebel said to him, I'm sorry, I have to read it with the tone.
Yeah.
Jezebel said, this woman is wild. She said, "You now exercise authority over Israel. Arise, eat food, and let your heart be cheerful. I will give you the vineyard of Naboth." And she wrote letters in Ahab's name, sealed them with his seal, and sent letters to the elders and the nobles who were dwelling in the city with Naboth.
So it's not even his voice going out to these people. It's hers, yeah.
Yeah. It's the spirit. It
in
is
the disguise of him, yeah.
Yeah.
He leased his authority to her.
Yeah. Anyways, so then they come out and they stoned him. And it's like, Then Jezebel said to Ahab, "Arise and take possession of the vineyard of Naboth, which he refused to give you for money, for Naboth is not alive, but dead." And what I think is wild is like, it is the war. It is the war of inheritance in this. And like, I think people do align into that spirit.
Yeah.
Which I believe is really bloodthirsty.
Yeah.
Like, it really does seek to. It's not just like, or like snakes. Like, they actually try to kill you when they're pissed.
Yeah.
You know, like there's, like, it's not just well, they're just kind of being like that. Or,
well, like with her, it's like, it's not, hey, that land, we deserve that land, or we want that land. It's like death. Yeah. Bloodthirsty.
Yeah. It's like, no, I'm going to take this thing. And I think that's what some of these spirits actually embody.
That thing, the situations are just a vehicle for death.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that is the curse.
Right.
The curse is death. And they just fully aligned with it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where people, I'd never think people are bad, but I do think people align to it.
Definitely.
For example, this is just a small example.
Yeah.
And I got pretty heated. I'm not normally a very emotional person.
Yeah.
And that's not true. I normally will give people the benefit of the doubt. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But I was checking out at Fresh one day, and Bexley was kind of having big feelings, and I let her have her feelings.
Yeah.
I don't shush her. I never squash them. I like let her have them. Right. And even if we're in public, I don't care. Like, I'm there with her. I'm going to comfort her. I'm going to sit with her in it. But I was checking out, and she had just like randomly screamed. She was just like, "Ma!" Probably because she's 2. But it wasn't like I'm a super mad. She was just expressing herself.
Yeah.
Well, this gentleman walked by and in her face went, "Shh," like snapped at her.
Ooh.
And she started bawling, and she said, "Hurt my feelings." She said that, like actually communicated that hurt her feelings. And I got so mad. And I was like, she said it immediately. And I was like, yeah, that was actually really rude. And I said it out loud.
Yeah.
Anyways, well, Bexley couldn't like.
I'd have said something too.
Well, so Zach took her outside to like let her calm down.
Yeah.
And Zach didn't know, but he was sitting directly behind Zach and Bexley.
Yeah.
And Zach had to talk to Bexley about it. And he was like, yeah, that's not nice when people do that. It's actually very rude. And Bexley kept pointing to him.
Ooh.
Zach didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
Because Zach came up after he had already left.
Yeah.
And there was like 5 times where So Zach like resolved it, but kept telling Bexley like, hey, that's not nice.
Yeah.
Well, Bexley, of course, because of the movies I let her watch, she was like, kick butt.
Yeah.
We go kick his butt.
That's right.
So, we had to navigate that situation. But she was like she could feel that I wanted to go kick his butt.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was just like, that's so rude.
Yeah.
You don't do that to children. I want to kick his butt.
You tell me that story. You don't do that.
In her face, dude. Like, lean down in front of her and did that.
Just because he's a little uncomfortable or a little...
But he was just walking out of the store.
Yeah.
It was like he wouldn't even... Anyways.
Yeah. Not cool.
I digress.
Okay. Way to trigger me with that story.
It's just like, it's rude to do that to a 2-year-old. But anyways, but it made me think that, right? Where because people are uncomfortable, they'll bring in alignment with other things and then project it at them, project it at anybody else. And that's what he did.
Yeah.
I mean, Zach had to talk me down. It was like 4 times I almost walked over there.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you not realize how rude that was?
Yeah. That's nicer than I was thinking.
I was going to actually take Bexley over there and be like, hey, we actually apologize when we hurt people's feelings, so you should apologize to her.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
No, I thought about a million different ways I was going to do that, but it's just the projection is what I was getting at. People align to things and people they're short-tempered or whatever, but that's alignment to the curse. That's alignment to death because it's seeking to try and separate. It's trying to divide. It's trying to isolate.
Well, look what that does to her. Like just to Bexley's mind, that it's like an intrusion.
Yeah.
It triggered me. This dude, well, look at it. This dude did this, how long ago was this?
It was like 3 days ago.
The effects of his messiness has triggered me now.
I was trying to squash it, but
here another thought that I had too is like it is those little things. Everybody thinks of witchcraft as like potions and spells, which it is. But I think some of the deepest forms of darkness in witchcraft is that manipulation.
Totally.
And that yielding yourself to that spirit.
To that voice.
And specifically that voice and acting on it. The accusations, the manipulation specifically, pitting people against people, this strategy of it. And what I think we talked about it before, was it Bob Jones that said like witchcraft formulas?
Patterns and formulas.
Look at manipulations. Like if I can pit this person against this person, if I can influence this person over here, they'll be on my side. Like all that little stuff.
Oh, yeah.
There was a book. I didn't read it.
I think it's even binding together in criticism.
Definitely.
Like if I can criticize something or someone and I can get them to also criticize, I've now created an alliance.
Yes.
That I believe is part of the dark side.
To amplify that projection. Yeah. So that's, potions, spells suck. But that stuff, this manipulation stuff, it's closer too. People can, it's available to function in.
Oh, yeah.
So.
And I think it happens more than people realize. I think it comes in through wound. It comes in through places that people are not whole.
Yeah.
And even just immaturity.
Yeah.
I think people who are immature can...
Even complaining about things. Hey, complain with me. Let's complain together.
Yep. Yeah. I think it is a breeding ground for every evil thing.
Right.
I think that so I wrestled with that for a long time, right? Because I used to hear this statement often that was like, I'm not complaining, I'm just talking it. Like I'm just trying to vocalize it or whatever. And I think there's space for that. I think there's a space for processing kind of what is happening.
Yeah.
I think you can feel the difference of when your heart is attached to that spirit.
I think so too.
Because there's I want to stay in that. There's something that feels good in that.
Yeah.
I created a connection in that.
Yeah.
Like maybe I'll have a friend that I always gossip with or complain with or I feel more quote unquote natural with.
Yep.
It's normally because you sit there and gossip with one another.
Yeah.
Sorry if that's harsh, but I think that's how
it's a thing.
Yeah. But I think it's right for where envy and self-seeking exist, confusion and every evil thing are there.
Yeah.
Which I think is incredibly easy to detect. Like, ask yourself, is there envy or self-seeking in this?
Yeah.
Are people promoting anything that are evil? People are not evil. That I mean, but self-seeking.
Sure.
Like, because I think that's what Jezebel did.
Yeah.
She sought something. It was self-seeking. She was getting something in the midst of that. But
yeah, the Spirit used her selfishness as a vehicle for death, separation.
But it entered in through Ahab's envy.
Yeah.
Because Naboth had something that he wanted.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, that's where every evil thing is lying.
Yep.
Lying in the wait.
Yeah. Yep.
But my favorite part, though, is, but wisdom that is from above is first pure.
Yeah.
Then peaceable, gentle, willing to yield, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. Now the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace by those who make peace. But I think that thing about like willing to yield is so brilliant.
Yeah, it is.
It's like wisdom will yield. I don't think we yield to the witchcraft.
Yeah.
But I don't think we seek to prove ourselves in the midst of it. We actually cling to the Lord in it. Because He's going to go before us in it all.
Yeah.
But
that's right.
I think the willing to yield is you yield your rights. You said that one time?
Yeah, surrender your right.
You surrender your right, don't you? Like
surrender your right to have rights.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. But you even nail your rights on the cross. Like you let everything goes through the cross.
Yeah. Yeah.
What does that look like for you? When have you had to do that in a practical way?
Surrender your rights?
Yeah. When you've seen that thing kind of start to flare at you.
Let me think about it. Let me produce an answer for you really fast.
I just thought of an example for you. That's why I was asking.
Oh, you did? Well, then hit me.
Well, I was just thinking.
Get me started on it at least.
Well, one of my thoughts was the whole thing when they voted you in to be president. Like, you could have tried to, like, prove yourself and, like, but you, like, yielded to actually what other people were.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, but there was other kickback that was happening.
Sure.
And you could have tried to defend yourself.
Yes. Okay. Well, that's what I said. That's kind of what I said earlier.
Just the board
That whole
thing.
situation was like, I separated myself from, I'm not in this for, like, power or position, period.
You should tell the whole story, though.
Okay. I'll kind of sum it up.
I mean.
Well, even like my job and stuff, like here, a lot of people want a position like this for their resume.
Yeah.
It's like, or even when you're on a board, you volunteer yourself somewhere. It's like, this will look good on my resume one day. It's selfish.
Yeah.
I'm not like that. But this whole meeting thing, when they voted me in, I didn't throw my name in the hat. I'm like separated from, like, I'm here for the goodness of art and other people.
Yeah.
Opportunity. So they voted me in. I didn't say anything. Like, James should do it. Said, if everybody wants me to, okay. And then I get the question, why are you qualified to do this? Which I've gotten in multiple places before, usually from the same, people, usually. And it was like, my heart is for people. What was it? Plain and simple. So I didn't have to defend myself. I guess that's an example of it.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Another one is when you go through the drive-through. They get your order wrong. Surrender your right to be bitchy about it. Because you have a right. That's another example. You have a right to, I'm paying for this.
Yeah.
I better get what I paid for. You can surrender that right too.
Oh, yeah.
You can be nice about it and go take it back and get the right thing. Yeah. Or you can suck it up and eat it. If this were The Walking Dead, you wouldn't make it. Because your burger, Anyway, that's a right. And then the other day I heard somebody say, like, you find out who people really are when you start tampering with their money. That's another right you can surrender. All those things that you have a right to.
Yeah.
I have a right to be angry. Just like the guy that said that to Bexley.
Yeah.
I'm frustrated about it. But you have a right to that. I feel like I have a right to be angry if somebody did that to Kyla.
Yeah.
That's something else that you can surrender. It's like, and forgive.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We went on this whole
release
thing.
It,
Oh yeah. Which we did. It was kind of sweet because it was a really cool moment to talk with Bexley about that. Mm-hmm. About like,
pray for him.
Yeah. I was like, well, we're not going to kick their butts.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, all humans, they're the good guys.
Yeah.
Some of them just don't know it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was like, we forgive them. We bless them. Anyways.
Yeah.
She still wanted to kick his butt.
I bet.
She talked about it 2 days later.
Yeah, that's funny. Oh.
She goes, guy who shush.
Yeah.
And kick his butt.
Yeah, that's funny.
Well, I'm not shutting down the warrior spirit in her, so.
No.
We'll realign when she's like 7.
Yeah, you just point in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
She'll wield that.
Yeah.
I think those
I
are
like
the rights
fighting
that
spirit, though.
I do too, yeah. You wield it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
But the rights thing, that was a big one. It's those little things is what I think we talked about a while back.
Yeah.
Your right to be offended is the big one.
Mm.
That's the big one. Surrender that.
Oh, yeah.
If you think you have a right anywhere,
mm-hmm.
I think you should surrender it.
Oh, yeah.
All that matters is who we are, who the Lord in us. That's it.
You know what I thought was very interesting? I listened to a lady the other day. She goes, I've heard about this new principle. It's called the let them principle. If somebody is doing something that you don't think is right, let them.
Oh, damn. Well.
She was like, if you have business partners that you think aren't doing things the right way,
yeah,
let them. She was like, it releases you of controlling them.
Mm.
And then you get to choose how you respond.
Okay.
And she was like, your response is the only thing that matters because your response is what holds the power.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
huh.
It's so simple.
Yeah.
Let them. And then you respond appropriately.
Yeah.
You respond in wisdom. You respond in hope. You respond with love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's interesting.
So I have adopted that as the let them principle. Because I've always felt like, and it's definitely been coded in control, but like I'm trying to help people.
Yeah.
Like I want to show them the way of righteousness. I want to help kind of.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's freaking witchcraft actually.
Yeah. It's interesting to navigate it too. Cause it's like, if you separate yourself from your selfishness or whatever, then I think there are moments where you contend for things or where you disagree. Definitely things like that. Maybe where you can.
But what if more things are done behind the scenes in the secret place?
Yeah. Yeah.
Than it's ever done out loud.
Mm-hmm.
What if it has less to do with us?
Yeah.
Bringing in the hammer of language or showcasing it and more about letting people be people.
Yeah. Well, and another thing about yielding, like even the right to be offended and stuff like that, is God is our justice.
Mm-hmm.
He is. He'll take care of it.
And it'll look way better than you even thought it would be.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And it may result in relationship with whoever did it. Who knows, Oh,
yeah.
Just let him handle it. He's our justice and yeah, he'll handle it.
But I just think about like your close, the people that you are, this is where I feel like things get really sticky for me. Not sticky, just more refining. It's way easier for me for people who I don't have consistent interaction with.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, okay, whatever. Like they'll do them. I'll pray for them. I'll bless them. But it doesn't affect me on a day-to-day.
Yeah.
It's the things that are affecting me on a day-to-day that's like, how do I surrender my right in this moment?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah, this is freaking cyclical. These people keep doing this stuff.
Yep.
It feels almost intentional in how they're doing it. But like learning to surrender the right. And this was so cool. I had a situation where something was consistently happening and I've seen it from the outside. And by outside, I mean like I was able to step out of these situations in my like third person view because I was definitely involved in it. A lot of things kind of coming at me.
Yeah.
And when I zoomed out on it, I asked the Lord, I was like, you know what? Finally, what is your perspective on it?
Yeah.
Because I felt very unsettled by a lot of stuff and whatever. And it was so beautiful. Once he gave me a word for that person and I prayed that over them, that day, it shifted. Like tensions lifted and things were settling. And I was like, that's weird. But it made me realize, like, in everything, we should connect to the word of the Lord.
Yeah.
And connect to the word of the Lord over that person. And I think that will even dismantle. Because I think there's more work that we should be doing behind the scenes.
In the secret place, like you said,
than ever bringing things out. I think maybe it's just my own training that I've been in. But it's definitely like there's treasures in the secret place for us.
Yeah.
That I think are freaking golden.
Yeah.
But anyways.
That's good. Wonder if we'll get any blowback on this episode. Did we say anything heretical?
Probably.
I looked up the definition of that. It's on the show notes for that episode. Sorry, I just thought of this.
That we're heretical?
Heresy is not aligning to the popular, most widely held belief. It's not that you're going against the truth, it's that you're going against the most widely held belief.
Yes, we are then.
I know. That's why I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
Maybe we really are heretics.
Yeah.
Jesus was. I'll be one.
Yeah, that's true.
It's flipping beautiful.
Yeah. You look like you're winding up over there. Did you find something?
Yeah, I was trying to see where it was, but I can't find it right now.
You want to Google it?
Are you ready?
Yep.
I just stumbled upon this. This was not what I was looking for. It says, you have delivered me from the strivings of the people. You have made me the head of the nations. It's David talking, but it's kind of funny. Like when you're set in authority.
Yeah.
You're actually being delivered from the striving. People striving around you.
Yeah.
Just made me think of your life.
Oh.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't know where this went. Oh, well.
Where were you going?
I don't know. I had like 6 thoughts. I'll just leave it there.
Fluttered away. Yeah.
Like a butterfly.
Oh, yeah. Chasing butterflies.
Yep.
Well,
that's good. I'm glad we got into the Jezebel.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's good. It's encouraging. So if anybody listening is experiencing any of that, well,
take it as a badge of honor.
Yeah, take it as a badge of honor.
That's what it feels like.
And then connect to the Lord in it. Hear what He has to say about the situation.
All right.
Okay.
We'll see y'all next time.
If you enjoyed this episode of the Ancient Way podcast, drop us a like, share with your friends, share with your family. And if you'd like to support us and what we are doing, and you would like to play a direct role in our growth and things that we do in the future,
we have a donation spot at the bottom of our show notes. So you can click on that, give however much you want. We appreciate absolutely everything. We appreciate our listeners. And everybody that's already come alongside and encouraged us, and even everybody that's been on our show. So thanks, guys.